Well, well, well. It looks like Sean Spicer wasn't bullshitting. Um, yeah, we all heard about how they're gonna ramp up the anti-marijuana machine again. They're gonna dust off the old reefer madness machine. They're gonna dust off the old militarized police crushing people in medical marijuana dispensaries and putting them on the ground with guns in their faces, old cancer patients and stuff. And they're definitely gonna fly in and with 100,000 National Guard troops to California and 50,000 to Colorado and shut down all their recreational marijuana ambitions. I'm just kidding, of course. They're totally not going to do any of that. They're not going to ever even attempt to even budge on any of that because 72% of America says don't do that. Quinnipiac poll, when asked, do you think the federal government should enforce federal marijuana laws in states where it's been legalized, whether prohibition or whether recreational or medical? And the response was 72%, or 5 out of 7 people said, hell no, don't do that. Do not even think about doing that. Well, there's this U.S. Um, district, who is he? Attorney. Yep, a U.S. attorney out there in Colorado, or out west. I'm not sure what his district is, but apparently part of his district is the Las Vegas area, where High Times was planning on having a cannabis cup here in less than a week. So we have the Reno Gazette Journal reporting that feds are threatening to shut down the giant Las Vegas marijuana festival, aka the Cannabis Cup. Uh-oh. Now this story kind of hits close to home because I live in a town in Michigan where we have a Cannabis Cup. And actually, I believe we had two for the last 2 years, maybe. Maybe they just started having two last year. I'm not sure. I didn't go to that one. Um, but anyway, we have a cannabis cup 2 miles from my house, and no one's ever tried to shut that down. And we only have medical marijuana here. We don't even have recreational marijuana. But I don't know. I don't think the laws have even went into effect yet in Nevada. However, when you tell people that you're legalizing recreational marijuana, you very well can't just start arresting people for marijuana again before the law kicks in or whatever. So, one of the world's largest marijuana festivals, which is expected to be held this weekend on tribal land outside Las Vegas, has been facing a possible shutdown for the past 2 weeks, according to a letter sent by federal officials earlier this month. U.S. Attorney Daniel Bogdan, based in Las Vegas, sent a February 16th letter to the Moapa Paiute tribe, reminding the tribe that the transport, possession, and use and distribution of marijuana is illegal under federal law. The marijuana trade show and festival planned for March 4th and 5th would be in violation of that law, the letter said. I have a question. If this wasn't going to be on this tribal land, would the federal government even care? And, I mean, maybe it's just this attorney Daniel Bogdan has a bug up his ass about marijuana. Possibly. I know Nevada, before they changed all their laws, they were one of the strictest states about marijuana there was. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know if they would go so hard if it wasn't on tribal land. Quote, I am informed that the Tribal Council is moving forward with the planned marijuana event referred to as the 2017 High Times Cannabis Cup because it is under the impression that the so called Cole Memorandum and subsequent memoranda from the Department of Justice permit marijuana use, possession, and distribution on tribal lands when the state law also permits it. Unfortunately, this is an incorrect interpretation of the department's position on this issue. Oh, wow. What is it then? I don't get it. The Cole Memorandum provides guidance to federal officials in states that have legalized marijuana in some form. In 2011, the Deputy Attorney James Cole directed all U.S. attorneys to take into account local laws when looking at marijuana enforcement, which allowed officials to give lesser priority to marijuana crimes. Another memo, guidance memorandum, indicates that the tribal governments and U.S. attorneys should consult government to government as issues arise. Nothing in the guidance memorandum or the Cole memorandum alters the authority or jurisdiction of the United States to enforce federal law in Indian country or elsewhere, Bogdan wrote in the letter. Again, I ask, if this was attempted somewhere other than Indian land, Indian country, or whatever he called it, would they even go out there and deal with it? Would they bother with it? Because I'm not sure, but I thought they had this thing in Las Vegas before. Maybe not. They've been medical marijuana has been a thing in Nevada before, all this recreational. So the tribe has since been working with U.S. Attorney's Office in Nevada to resolve this conflict, according to Tribal Chairman Darren DeBoda. The U.S. Attorney's Office confirmed the letter but declined comment. Quote, "To us, we're looking at it as utilizing our sovereignty," DeBoda said. Quote, "As long as marijuana is not visible, we're told it'll be okay." The Cannabis Cup is produced by the High Times, a cannabis-centric magazine that has been published since 1974. I'm not sure how factual that is. The publication, whose representatives were not available for comment on Monday, describes the event as the world's leading marijuana trade show, celebrating the world of ganja through competitions, instructional seminars, expositions, celebrity appearances, concerts, and product showcases. Now, I think High Times got it started in 1972. Or even one, but don't quote me on that, but I don't know. That's the first time. I don't know. So for about 3 decades, the gathering convened in Amsterdam until Colorado and Washington legalized recreational marijuana, and Denver hosted a cup in 2013. Anywhere from 7,000 to 35,000 attendees have been reported at the Giant Hemp Rendezvous. This year's Las Vegas event is headlined by rapper Ludacris, who is known for Rollout, but also has recorded tracks such as Blueberry Yum Yum, Smoke Weed Every Day. The gathering will also feature samplings and pairings of edible cannabis products, spa treatments with cannabis oils, and a wide array of vendors marketing their latest marijuana-geared products, according to the High Times website. And it truly is a great trade show for people that want to see the marijuana industry firsthand. You don't even have to have a marijuana card in some of these cannabis cups, because the area where you smoke marijuana is isolated from the rest of the area. That's how it's been at the Cannabis Cup in Michigan, because it's a medical-only state. So we have what we call a medication area. So you only can get in there if you have a medical marijuana card. Otherwise, you can walk around and see the vendors. I don't know. Last time I went there, it wasn't quite like that. But yeah, the tribe is promoting it as a vendors, crafts, food, and concert event. We're not promoting the distributor or selling marijuana. So they're not promoting the distributor or selling marijuana, according to the tribal leader. What's the problem then? If he's saying from all things that he can think of, you're basically not going to see marijuana, you're not going to see anyone selling it or promoting the distribution of it. So what's the problem, Attorney General or district or whatever, attorney, district attorney. The event will be held in a fenced-in, secured area, and the event is only for ticket holders age 21 and over. Hired security will be at the event. The tribal law enforcement will be advised if needed. DeBoda was not sure whether federal law enforcement would be present at the event. Seeing how it's on tribal land and it's a marijuana-related thing, and your attorney, U.S. attorney there, has a bug up his ass about marijuana, you're probably going to have some undercover feds floating around, just guessing. While the Cannabis Cup is scheduled for several venues this year, the Las Vegas event kicks off the series and will be somewhat of an inaugural celebration of Nevada's recent passage of marijuana legalization in November. 54% of voters marked yes on question 2, which allows anyone 21 and over to possess up to 1 ounce of recreational pot, though public consumption still is prohibited. The herb is not yet on the market in Nevada for recreational users, although medical marijuana dispensaries around the state are poised to begin selling recreational product as soon as July. The passage of Question 2, however, puts tribes in a predicament since many American Indian tribes' budgets rely heavily on federal funding. DeBoda said that while the Tribal Council was concerned about federal funding being pulled from the Mopo Band of Powhats, the council passed its own regulations to be applied on the reservation and also has been speaking regularly with the U.S. Attorney's Office in teleconferences to keep in good standing with federal officials. DeBoda did not know what percentage of the tribal's budgets come from the federal government, nor does he disclose how much money the tribe was making off the Cannabis Cup. Senator Tick Segelblom, Democrat, Las Vegas, will be proposing a bill later this legislative session to address recreational marijuana policies for tribes in the state. Quote, "This is the kind of event that we'd like to see in Nevada. This could be a huge boost for the tourism industry," said Segerblom, a staunch advocate for marijuana. Even if the event is carried out as planned, the tribe is uncertain whether it will pursue further involvement with the cannabis industry because of the White House recently suggested that it would have greater enforcement of federal prohibition on marijuana. And I think what they're afraid of there is this idea that the federal government, if they want to do some kind of a crackdown on marijuana, they can ramp up the penalties for people that smoke marijuana. You know, they can be like, hey, since it's against federal law and you get a Social Security check, no, you don't. If we're going to piss test you, and if you have marijuana in your system, no check. Now that's an extreme example, but when you're a tribe and you're getting money from the federal government, you don't want that to get infringed. Yeah, and it's just another way for the federal government when they have people under their thumb. It's never a good thing for the people under their thumb. You know, you basically have to follow everything, every letter of every law they hand you, or like this guy's probably doing, compromising where you can. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said last week that if federal officials would focus their efforts toward enforcing the recreational marijuana prohibition, federal officials will not come after those in the medical marijuana industry. I didn't hear Sessions say that, so I don't think that's a very good quote. Sessions this week, however, stated that states can pass laws, though the federal government has the right to enforce federal law as well. I agree with that. That was said. Spicer didn't exactly say that that they wouldn't go after medical or that they are going to go after recreational. He distinguished a difference between the two, and then he kind of said that Trump has a little bit of sympathy for people using medical marijuana. He didn't say anything more than that. And then he did say a few things about recreational and that the Department of Justice is going to have a look at it and blah, blah, blah. And then Sessions, apparently the Department of Justice was having a look at it, and they were looking at the Cole memo, and they decided that, you know, they're going to try to figure out how to word their way into enforcement. And we know that 8 states, including Nevada and the District of Columbia, have legalized recreational marijuana, and more than 24 states have legalized medical marijuana. Asked whether cannabis would be present at the Cup this weekend, DeBoda said he was not sure. We're working on that right now, he said. Well, judging from the federal attention that you have on your event, I hate to say it, but it's a bad idea, but I'm all for civil disobedience. So if there's something going on where, you know, a massive amount of people are going to light up doobies at 420 or something, nobody's going to stop that. You know, they can't arrest everybody. And this event is probably already slated to be pretty huge. It's the Cannabis Cup, and it's 40 minutes outside of Las Vegas. Perfect time of the year to be out there. The weather is nice, probably, I would say. So, you know, more power to the people and less power to the federal government, because, you know, if it was up to Sean Spicer and the gang, this event would not go off. And if people did go trying to light doobies, they would close in with 1,000 troops and arrest everybody.